Hello, good morning and good evening. Good day, everybody. I'm Oliver, and today I'm very glad to invite Mark Chen to share a very professional introduction about the AACE and the Project Management Institute PMI. And Mark will prepare the slides to share about this topic later. And if you have any question during the meeting, you can type down your questions in the question box, and or you can maybe unmute your microphone and ask any question with Mark or me. Yeah, and I'm Oliver, very glad to be invited as the host today. Okay, thank you everyone. So Mark, Chen,
thank you very much, Oliver, for your introduction. I'm very excited to be able to connect with my engineering peers. We all have the basic specific engineering training in our college, whether we learn civil engineering, structural engineering, mechanical engineering, or any specific engineering. When we start our first job and go to the real world, we soon realize there are so many things we really didn't know. We have not learned those knowledge and skill from the engineering training. So we have to quickly learn all those new topics. If we are fortunate to have a very able mentor, we can quickly learn from those experts. Or sometimes we learn from our colleagues on a specific subject on a piecemeal basis. And where can we learn these special knowledge that we need to manage the task or the project that we involve? We probably very often you get assigned with a particular task or involved in the projects. You're given with the challenge to complete certain tasks or project within a given time and under certain budget constraint. This would involve some sort of cost control and progress management. Where is a place we can learn more comprehensive overall knowledge that can help us to control and manage the task or project more efficiently? Besides our mentor or colleague, we most likely would have to go to some professional organizations. So this leads to today's presentation topics. Two unique professional organizations. They are closely aligned with our engineering field. They deal with the cost management, project management, and how to ensure the success of the tasks and the projects. So we will go through a brief introduction today. Then we will focus our time in the first organization, which is AACE International, the short name AACE, and Project Management Institute, also known as a PMI. We look at what each organization offers to help us to grow our knowledge and skill so we can be more proficient. And after we explore these two organizations, we'll put them side by side, look at them. What are the things in common between these two organizations? What are the specific areas they focus on? Then at the end of the presentation, we'll open up for question and comment. So there are many professional organizations. Why AACE and PMI are specific targeted? Because from experience, these are organizations been around for more than 50 years. They have established many standards, provide a tool and techniques, and the skills and knowledge that we need to help us to manage our tasks and projects. Now, we as an engineer, we deal with several topics that we're going to be covered today, but we may not have a common understanding. So before we explore AACE and PMI, I'd like to clarify 4 basic terminologies to make sure we have the same understanding. When costs come to you, what do you think? What comes to your mind first? Majority of people associate cost with monetary value, the dollar amount. However, we as an engineer, we're dealing with project and tasks that require a lot of resources. The cost is more than the monitoring value. It's related to all the resources required to get the job done, to get the project accomplished. So these resources include the monetary value, but also includes the time. How long does it take to get this project completed? Is it 3 weeks or 4 years? And what sequence these tasks need to be done? And also, what are the skills required to complete the design? And what type of skilled labor force required to complete the construction? The people involved. And suppose we are building a 100-kilometer highway, then we need to look at not only the monetary value, the time required, and also people and skill required. We also need to look at what are the physical resources. The first is material resources. For example, in constructing a highway, we need to find out how many cubic meters of crushed rock required. Also to find out how much rebar required and how many cubic meters of pre-mixed concrete required. Besides the material requirement, we also need to look at construction equipment required. How many pre-mixed concrete trucks do we need at what time? And also, do we need a concrete pump and how many? So the concrete could be delivered to a precise point where the concrete is required. And the tool required to provide a finishing surface. All these materials and equipment are all part of physical resources. So when we look at the cost, I'd like you to understand and the basic cost for us is all the resources required: monetary, time, people, and physical resources. The next term comes in mind is cost engineering. Cost engineering is similar to civil engineering, structural engineering. It is an engineering training. It takes a systematic approach, knowledge to learn these specific skills. They could be involved several things, such as business planning. For example, if we're building a highway, we need to know where's highway going to start and end, where's it going, on what type of highway. Is it asphalt highway or the concrete pavement? And also how to manage people, because it's involving the people management. And some point in time, we need to perform estimation to determine not only the monetary value required, but also all the material equipment that may be associated with the projects. Then we also need to doing tremendous planning to determine what are the individual activity involved and in what sequence, which one need to be completed first, which one follow, and what are the tasks or activities on the critical path, so we can track, see whether the project will be on schedule. And during the project execution, we definitely need to track the progress and also monitor how much we spend. Are we making the progress consist with the money that we spend? Are we going over budget? And get the early warning so we can take a corrective action. If the project is the for-profit, then the organization most likely will be looking at what is the return on investment, ROI. Does it make sense to make this investment? So once you look at all these aspects, you have all these knowledge, then you are ready to manage the project. So cost engineering and the project manager are closely related. If you have good knowledge of cost engineering, you are able to manage the project. The next term is called a TCM, total cost management. A total cost management look at the asset throughout the entire life cycle. For example, we are building a manufacturing plant. Then from the initial planning, we have to find out what does business want us to produce in this factory, what kind of product, what quantity. And then we need to look at the overall cycle that include the planning and also all the design stage we need to go through, and the construction phase, And once facility is constructed, usually means the end of the project, but the life goes on. We'll have to learn how many people required to operate this facility and what's the ongoing maintenance requirement. All these are called the entire asset life cycle. This is what total cost management really encompasses. It's looking at a macro view of the asset life cycle. And certainly this involves the use of the cost engineering, cost management, and all the available tools and management techniques. So let's look at the graphical form. Cost is the middle, it's one element, but cost engineering embraces more areas beyond just the cost. And total cost management is a final global macro view of entire asset life. That's total cost management framework. The final term is project management. A project is a special effort to deliver something of value to people or to the organization over a defined duration. Because each project always has a starting point and end point, and always a fixed duration. It may be a 6 months project or 2 years project, but always have a very finite duration. So this is complete our basic introduction. Now let's move into AACE. Let's explore this organization. In 1960 and 50s area, United States went through a tremendous capital expenditure in the aerospace, in the information technology, in the computer software development, and pharmaceutical and major highway construction. All these are projects of mega size. They are very complex. And there is no industry standard. People are using different terminology. And if people are working on these major projects, they have difficulty, they can only go through their own internal organization to discuss how to solve. And there's no place they can share or look at outside for some advice. So there are 59 estimators and cost engineers. They got together, they realized we must develop the common terminology and develop the standard process, procedure, and develop the practical tools, techniques that can help us to do our tasks, get the project done more efficiently with a higher level of confidence. So these are the first 59 founders of AACE. So they established the first organization. It's called American Association of Cost Engineering, AACE. That's where AACE come from. Originals only focused in the United States. So organization established in 1956. We thank for these visionary founders. So what is AACE try to accomplish? How can this organization help us? AACE has been around for more than 70 years. It has developed many standard, recommended practice, education material. It's intended to help the user and member to have all these knowledge and experience. So when they execute a project, they can get it done on time, on schedule, and also be able to meet all the investment and operation goals. A project must meet its intended goals. If you're not meeting the goals, then project is not successful. AACE now has more than 8,000 members spread out more than 100 countries. It has 91 sections. A section is a group of local members. They get together on a regular basis. Typical is monthly. They have a presentation, discussion. They can share their experience and networking together. Out of these 91, there are 42 sections really outside United States and Canada. So AACE started from an organization located, focused on United States. But around the turn of century, the demand for this knowledge and skills are so great throughout the world, the AACE is forced to change to a new name. Still preserve AACE legend. So it's called AACE International. It's intended to cover all members throughout the world. So this is where AAC started. All sections are in the United States. This is where AAC sections located throughout the world. Over the 70 years, AAC has produced many publications. The most significant publication are TCM framework that basically describe all the total cost management processes and what are the interrelationship between each process. And from the TCM framework, many recommended practices called RPs are developed. These are more practical guidelines that help us to do the job more effectively and achieve a higher level of confidence. The most basic publication to help us to learn about cost engineering is through the books called Skills and Knowledge of Cost Engineering. This is the very book that I got to learn more about the cost engineering. And once you're familiar with this publication, you would have a well-rounded knowledge of all the cost engineering. This publication consists of 34 chapters, like a cost, pricing, estimating, scheduling, earned value, risk management, and many others. AACE also have a wonderful virtual library, which includes all these, plus many past technical papers presented at the annual meeting. All are available online through the virtual library. AACE offers 3 levels of certification programs: a beginning level, a professional level, and expertise level. So most of us graduate from the college and with already been working for several years. You are more likely qualified for the professional level certification. But the beginning level, called the technician level, are for the new engineer who might have only 1 or 2 years experience. That's a level they can do. But if you can go after the professional level certification, that will be the most efficient. And the expertise level, there are very few people they are considered to be expert in their field. They can qualify for this expertise level. So for our today meeting purpose, I think the professional level will be a certification could be of interest to you. The first certification with more general knowledge is called a CCP, Certified Cost Professional. This is the level where one is expected to have an overall knowledge of cost engineering, cost management. This would be similar to becoming a family doctor who knows the person's health in general in all areas. However, as a family doctor, he or she is not a heart surgeon. If you have a heart attack, you wouldn't look for your family doctor. You'll be looking for a heart surgeon. So that's where the special certification comes from. So some people are very good and focus on estimating. So they want to seek for the certification specific for estimating. So they will look for the CCP, Certified Estimating Professional. And some people are so good at doing the scheduling work, and they want to be recognized for their scheduling expertise. So they would then seek planning and scheduling professional, that's PCP, as a special specialty certification. But for most of us, CCP probably is most suitable if you're looking for professional certification. Now let's look at what it takes to qualify for CCP. Well, after 4 years engineering education, plus 4 more years of actual work experience, now you are qualified to apply. AAC look at the individual skill and ability to present technical topic in a very concise form, so the reader can easily follow and understand the content. And technical papers generally consists of opening, body, and closing. When I first wrote my technical paper, I was a little bit concerned. I haven't done that. But pretty soon I find out there are many material available to help me to prepare a technical paper. Also, in order to prepare for technical paper, I have to dig into deeper of the subject. So I actually learn and become much more knowledgeable of the topic that I was writing through this research effort that helped me to prepare my first technical paper. And once your technical paper is accepted, you are qualified to sit in for 120 multiple choice question exam. Once you pass the exam, you'll be awarded with a CCP seal and recognition by all your peers. Now this completes the AACE portion of overview. Now let's move into the project management organization. Again, 13 years after AACE was established, there are many people involved in a project management. They feel uncomfortable because they are put in a project management role without proper training, knowledge, and skill, because they haven't learned that from school. So they feel project management should be treated as a profession, so have a special recognition. And they want to establish the project management processes and develop the standard so people can use and can manage more efficiently and increase the probability of reaching a successful project. So therefore, in 1969, PMI was born. The headquarters is now located in Pennsylvania. AACE, the whole goal is to develop a lot of standards and help to raise the project management skill to help the member and user so they can deliver the project outcome to benefit individual career development, organization, or society, or the people that receive the project benefit throughout the world. That's their main mission. So how big is PMI? It now has grown from 1969 to today. There's more than 700,000 members throughout the world. And it has more than 320 chapters. A chapter in PMI is equivalent to a section in AACE. It consists of local members. They help each other to learn and share knowledge. PMI also offers many certification programs. The most popular certification program is PMP. But before you seek a certification, let's look at what are their most significant publication. The first one is PMBOK, Project Management Body of Knowledge. This is almost like a Bible in PMI. It describes the project processes and help you to understand what it takes to manage the project, to execute from the beginning planning to the final stage. And it has developed many fundamental standards that can readily use, that you can pick the portion that's applicable to your projects. And for a specific skill, such as estimate planning, they develop a practice standard that only focus on those unique areas. That's why it's called practical standard, unique to that focus skill. And the practical guides are a collection of the useful guides that people have been used and found may be helpful, but have not been regularly tested and checked out and developed into a standard. AACE and the PMI both offer certification. For PMI, they offer many level of certification. The most popular is PMP, Project Management Professional. This is the one probably most likely of interest to you. So we will focus our attention on how to become the PMP. To qualify PMP, in addition to 4-year college education, you need to have 3 more years of project management experience. Then you need to go through a 35 hours project management training. This is absolutely essential. And you can learn this project management process through attending seminars or participating in online courses to learn the project management. And this will qualify you for 35 hours training. And once you meet these 2 criteria, then you're ready to sit in for multiple choice question exam. There's no technical paper requirement in PMP certification. AACE is the only organization that focuses on the strength of written technical presentation sharing. So now we see what the AACE and PMI is about. And as you can visualize, there are a lot of areas, AACE and PMI overlappings. They are very similar. What you learn from one organization is transferable to the other organization. It's not lost. You can immediately apply to the other organization. You don't need to relearn. You just need to learn more because each organization has special focus area. For AACE, it focuses on total cost management, and it's focused on entire asset lifespan, much longer. On the contrary, PMI focus on project management, and for the project duration, a finite duration. And AACE have a tendency to focus more on technical expertise and knowledge. PMI is more into leadership development, help the member to be a better project leader or project manager. AACE attract more members with engineering construction background. PMI attract more members associated with the information technology, software developments, and people skill, and others. AACE has 91 sections versus the PMI more than 320 local chapters. As we talk, AACE now has more than 1,700 certified cost professionals, CCP. PMI has more than 400,000 PMP, project management professional. That's a size. And the reason why there's such a big difference is there are more people involved in the project management and people doing a lot of the facility construction. There are not that many. So that's why there are few people certified as CCP. Now we now have a general knowledge of what AACE and PMI is about. They have a lot of things in common. They both are well recognized throughout the world. It's a top quality professional organization. Which organization might be of interest to you or more suitable to you? It all depends on your career aspiration. What would you like to be in the future? Would you like to be a specialist where people come to you for guidance, advice, and problem solving? Or would you like to be a leader, to lead a project? And also look at the networking opportunity with your professional peers. So these are the factors, plus other your individual factors you may want to consider that will guide you for your next step to explore. So this is basically concludes the overview of AACE and PMI. Now we move into question and comments. Before we start, I just wanted you to walk away from today's presentation with the intent to develop a passion for lifetime learning. It is so critical. Keep on learning. That will enrich your life. The moment we stop learning, that's where we start to show our age. That's where the aging process starts. Whatever we learn, whether it's a personal interest or career development, it's all your choice. But keep on learning. Have that lifetime learning passion. So now, floor is open for questions.
And Mark Chen, I have a question about the AACE. We all know the cost engineering and the estimate engineering maybe should not maybe limited to the construction industry. So does the AACE they have any service like estimate, like for example, if today I'm going to build a semiconductor plant, or like some of the like some of operation device or equipment, does the AACE have this kind of the service or this knowledge?
Oh, absolutely. AACE has developed the process which tell you what level of the information required in order to produce the companion estimate accuracy. For example, if you have only a limited information available and project definition, your estimate, whatever number you derive, is subject to the wide variation. In other words, your final cost will be quite different from what your initial estimate. But if you have very defined scope and definition and understand the process with such a finite knowledge of the scope, then you can develop the estimate with much narrow focus. Therefore, your final likely project cost will be in the much narrow range, and accuracy of estimate is much higher. These are processes all described in the AACE publication, and they are readily available. They tell you, they tell you what type of information required for each step. For example, when you approve a project, no project is approved from day one. It project normally goes through many stages of planning. Initial planning, you only need a limited amount of information. For example, how many units of production we need. And from there, you, based on historical data, you can derive what is the most likely project cost will be. But that number you cannot use for management purpose, because your final total install cost could be quite different from that. Could be maybe by 80% over budget, or maybe 50% under budget. But as you have a more defined level of definition of the scope, you now derive the estimate with a narrower focus, and therefore your estimate accuracy is higher. Now it may be your final cost may be 30% more or 20% under. But when you as you move close to the project approval, you want the most detailed information and scope definition. So we can hopefully, the budget you develop could be subject to maybe potentially within the +10 and -5 range. This all depends. But there are a lot of publications AACE offer that can help in this regard.
So the total cost management can include in the manufacturer and also the operation cost estimate, right? So
yes,
as you
yes.
say, oh, okay, great.
Yeah, but you asked a very good question, because not all of us is going to involve all the entire life cycle of the asset. We may only involve a portion, but someone in the organization needs to look at all these aspects. For example, you're building the semiconductor factory, like a TSM, building one in Arizona. There was someone maybe responsible for project, look at a shorter duration, but overall they need, from the planning until the production operation, they need to look at all these aspects. Someone else will need to look at that. Yes. And the total cost management is dealing with, to make sure someone in the organization look at all these aspects.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for your sharing. And there are two questions from the Edward Wang. And first is does AACE have a statistical data showing a license has higher employment rates?
Well, certification is the recognition of your technical expertise, that you have that knowledge and expertise. And from the member study of both AACE and PMI, those receive a certification generally command higher salary because of their knowledge and expertise.
Okay. Next question is also from the Edward Wang. Are there any laws or regulations in the market that PMI or AACE is a must-have certificate? And in other words, what advantage does a license have?
I'm not quite clear of the question. The certification is just a professional recognition by all your peers that recognize you have that knowledge and skill and experience that you're able to perform, whether it be project management or the cost management, total cost management. It's just a recognition. It's recognized by these professional organizations. And also, a lot of company and government recognize these certification. It is not a license. It is different from a professional engineer license, which is issued by government entity.
Yeah.
However, these certifications also require the one continue to learn. So it need to be recertified in general every 3 years. And to recertify, you need to prove that you have continued to learn by attending the seminar or reading the technical paper or learning some subject or practicing in the field. So you cannot just say, I have received this certification and stop there and not keep on learning. That will not, and 3 years later, that certification will not be renewed. So need to continue to learn. So both organizations are very strong, continuous learning and keep renewing the certification.
Yeah. Mark, I think the PMP license, like the 3 years, we need to renew the license, maybe around the 60 PDU, right? So,
Correct.
Yeah, during these 3 years, we still need to learn some knowledge. Or if you attend some of the professional, like the webinar, you can register this kind of the training in the PMI website. So they can maybe update your PMP license. Yeah, if you didn't update that, your PMP license will be maybe they will cancel your PMP license in the PMI. I think, yeah.
Thank you for your elaboration, Oliver.
Yeah,
AACE also require individual within the 3 years to have a 20 professional development unit, PDU, professional development unit, which is similar, and you have to continue to learn and actually practicing in the field. So both organizations are dynamic. They don't want people stop learning.
Yeah. Like the traditional, the PMP training, PM box, they didn't teach the hybrid and the agile. Like these two kind of the project is the very common in the current stage in the field, especially like the software engineering. They utilize the hybrid as the function when you design the project. Yeah, in Chinese we call 敏捷 or 混合式 project. Yeah. So if you didn't update your PMP license, you cannot recognize this kind of knowledge. So this is a reason like why they request all of the members to renew your trainings in the PMI website. Admin have a question. So
hi, first I would like to thank Mark. You are a very good presentation, and I really appreciate. And also, this is my first time I heard of AACE, and yeah, I didn't know if there's any sector, AACE sector in Taiwan or New Zealand.
Good question. The closest section, AACE section to Taiwan is in Japan and Korea, India, Pakistan, Australia, and I think Singapore also has the section. But there is no AACE section in Taiwan at the moment. But PMI has a chapter in Taipei.
Okay, so how about New Zealand?
New Zealand, I have to check. I know Australia has the AACE section. I can check quickly.
Yeah, because I just missed the map you showed us in your presentation. So maybe we can check the map again and see if there's a dot in that map.
Well, I can find out for you, no problem. Yeah.
Okay, so regarding the professional development unit, actually I got PMI certificate 2 years ago, but I didn't have time to join any course. Yeah, so I just want to ask Oliver or Mark, for those PDU, I must join the course listed in PMI website, or I can join whatever course.
Well, for example, if you attend a technical meeting in the section, let's say AACE, then you earn it's like a 1/4 of the PDU. And if you attend, say, 8 hours a seminar, you earn 8 PDU. A PDU is basically equivalent to each PDU equivalent to 1 contact hour of learning.
Yeah, so I mean, who must be the organizer for that courses? For example, because I also got several professional license. So every year I have to reach maybe over 60 PDU or something like that. So I want to know if I can combine them together, or how to ease those burden.
Oh, I'm pretty sure some of the PDU, some of the training you've done will qualify, but there is a definition on what qualify for PDU in AACE certification. So I'm pretty sure what you learn, some of them will be applicable. for example, you attend some sort of seminar that related to this cost management or project management, those could be considered, could be recognized as a qualify for PDU. So
okay, so it doesn't.
Yes, I mean, I think in the PNI website, they have some they provide a rule there. Like for example, if you attend a structure seminar in New Zealand, I think you can maybe prepare some report to them, and they can recognize that as the PDU. And also in the PNI Institute, they have the international webinar. Like I think in the June, they have an international webinar. If you attend the webinar, maybe they can recognize that as the 20 PDU, something like that. So also the PNI, they provide the international webinar together. So if you attend, you don't need to pay any fee, but when you attend the webinar sharing your project experience, or you attend the training, you can get a PDU there.
Okay, and that question is because in the first year, I didn't get or record any PDU, but now it's almost the end of the second year. So can I, can I gain any point?
I think they can still recognize those points, but you just need to provide some of the report to the website, and someone will review that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, AAC also encourage people to make a presentation to share their knowledge. And when they make a presentation, especially at the AAC annual meeting, those presentations are counted as a PDU to be recognized to qualify for the certification. So if you are interested in that, I can find out and send you what qualify for PDU.
Yeah, Jasmine, maybe after the meeting, I can share the rule to you. Yeah.
Okay.
My current school provide me some tips to get a PDU.
Yeah, thank you, especially those free courses.
Okay, no problem. Okay, and Erwin, do you want to share your question here?
Oliver, would you want me to rejoin so I can see my picture, or that's okay with you right now? Just leave it like I did.
Now we can see your picture.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. We all can see my picture and your profile. Okay. And maybe Jean, would you like to share any question here? You can.
Okay. Hello, Mark. This is Jean. I'm currently working in Mexico.
Yes.
So I have a question regarding both AAC and PMP. Both of these two have the qualification for experience and for education. So I would like to ask if these have to be in the US, or it's okay to be in other countries. I mean, the education in Taiwan is okay, or
sure.
Yes.
Sure, you can learn in any place. You're not limited to the learning in North America. No, you can learn. Yeah.
Okay. That's the only question I have. Thank you.
Yeah, I think for normally,
a lot of people would go to the AAC annual meeting. That's about 3-day event. That's where a lot of technical paper presented, and the time duration will qualify the attendees for, I think it's about 12 hours PDU. It's count as those attending the seminar count toward your learning. Yeah. I could be wrong. It's not a 12 hours, but it does qualify you for certain PDU when you attend the AACE function. But when you attending other similar professional organization dealing with the cost management, I think that some of them could be qualified. Yeah. The goals of these organizations are encourage people continue to learn through whatever method is appropriate for you. And I recognize the AAC, for example, does not have a section in Taiwan, so difficult to participate face-to-face, but you can also participate online, network with other peers. The key is to look at for professional organizations to help you continue to learn and grow, so it will be more knowledgeable and be able to do your task more efficiently and with higher level of confidence.
Mark, I have a question. I heard from my colleague He worked in CTCI before. I think he shared the experience to me maybe 30 years ago when the Taiwan we are going to build the NRT system in Taipei, and the AACE request the CTCI maybe to collect the database of the unit rate in Taiwan. So he shared with me like actually AACE, what AACE do is also like collecting different countries' unit rate. So when they do the cost management or the estimation, they can calculate that based on maybe the benchmarking in different countries. So does the United States have the similar organism, right? Like they will collect the unit rate in the market. So this kind of the database they will provide to the field.
Well, AACE as an organization does not collect these historical data. These historical data really reside in the respective organization, the company or entity, engineering firm. Those AACE as a professional organization does not have this type of database. They have a process that guide the people to do their task. But the physical data, you'll be looking at consulting engineering or contractor, general contractor. They retain this kind of historical data.
Okay, but in the state, does any province they control the unit rate of any material or some of the items in the contract? Like for example, the unit rate of the concrete or the rebar, something like that.
Well, this type of unit rate, those are data in the United States. There are publications that talk about the unit rate and what's inclusive total labor, material, based on per cubic meter of concrete pour, how many hours required, and what's steel and concrete cost. All those data are ready available. It are ready for purchase. But as an AACE, as a professional organization itself, it does not retain this type of data. These data can only obtain from, say, consultant firm or contractor. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah. By the way, if you like a copy of today's PowerPoint slides, I'll be more than happy to forward to one of you so you can share.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Mark.